Hey there, Kayla. Look, I wanted to say that I'm sorry about what happened earlier today, but you have to look at things from my perspective. I had no idea that you were that old. I was so shocked when I found out that you were Carter's mom that, well, I guess I kinda said something that maybe I shouldn't have. If you think you were shocked, I'd like you to take a moment and consider how I felt. My son Carter brought you, his fiancée, over to my house so he could finally introduce the two of us. And when you walk in the door, what was the very first thing you said when you laid eyes on me? Well, do you remember, Miley? You shouted, quote, "Who the hell is that old woman in your living room, Carter?" I have never, in all my years, had someone speak in such a disrespectful manner to me. Not to mention, I have never allowed Carter to use profanity in my house, so your choice of verbiage was quite shocking as well. Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have let that slip out. Ordinarily, my mental filter keeps my more honest thoughts locked up in my head. And, in my defense, when I first saw you, I thought that you looked like you were around the same age as my grandma. Is that right? I suppose I can't blame you too much for that. After all, I was 40 years old when I gave birth to Carter. It's not all that uncommon for women my age to have grandchildren already. Whoa, hold on. Am I reading this correctly? You were 40 years old when Carter was born? Are you serious? I'm not sure why you think I would joke around about the topic, but yes, I am serious. Boy, you know what? Now that you mention it, that does explain a lot. I always thought that Carter was a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me? I'm afraid I don't know what you're saying. Perhaps you'd be generous enough to clarify your meaning for me? Do I really need to spell it out for you? I thought it was common knowledge. The older a woman is, the greater the risk becomes that her kids are going to end up being defective in one way or another, right? I've thought for a long time now that there's something, I don't know, call it mysterious, I guess, about Carter. Like I said, he always seemed different. Now that I know how old you were when he was born, everything makes sense. He's got some kind of a disability due to being born to such an old woman. Miley, how could you talk about Carter that way? That man is your fiancé. He asked you to be his wife. He wants to spend the rest of his life with you. And you're going to accuse him of having a disability? Don't get me wrong, it's not really a bad thing. Carter is a really great guy. He's super nice to me. And not just me, he's super nice to everyone around him. But that's the thing that seems so weird about him. It's like, being a guy is one thing, but Carter is way beyond the level of just being a nice guy. He's too nice. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him get mad at anyone or about anything. I was worried, like, does he have some kind of emotional problems? Does he have cancer or something in the part of the brain where anger comes from? But now I know that you were crazy old when he was born. I can be pretty sure that it's not cancer. He just has a really old mom. Having an old mom means he's bound to have some sort of defect. And if not being angry is his defect, I guess there's worse problems he could have. I do not believe the way that you're speaking about Carter right now, Miley. Have you no shame? Do you not realize just how hideously cruel the things you're saying are? No, not really. What's the issue? I'm just calling it like I see it. The issue is that you're talking about my son as though he's a defective piece of merchandise. He is not an object for you to evaluate. He is a human being. He is the man who asked you to be his wife as well as my son. You think his kind and sweet nature is a defect? That's not a defect, that's simply him being a good person. Not only that, but you're blaming his supposed defect on my age at the time he was born? Today has been nothing but a string of horrible insults from you towards both my son and myself. Good grief, somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. What are you getting so angry at me for? I just identified the fact that he has a defect. I'm not saying I'm going to return him to the manufacturer. I still love him just as much. I accept Carter for who he is, and that includes all his defects. Aren't I something else? I doubt there are very many other women out there who would be as willing as me to take a defective man as my husband. You should be grateful that I agreed to marry him. That does it. I always told myself that I would do my best to accept the woman that my son chose as his wife, whether I agreed with his choice or not. It's his life, not mine. He has a right to have his choices respected. However, your heartless words and careless attitude today are simply too much for me to bear. Seriously, what's your problem, Kayla? Didn't you see that I'm still gonna marry him despite him being the defective product of an old woman? Oh, I think I know what this is. Your one and only son is getting married, and you're jealous that he's gonna give another woman more attention than you. Jealousy? Is that what you think this is? Okay, so I'm gonna go now and let you deal with your jealousy issues by yourself. Thanks for lunch today. It was mediocre. The next time you have me over, I'd appreciate it if you could put a little more effort into the food, okay? And if that's too much for you, I wouldn't object to you ordering delivery. Bye-bye, Mommy dearest. Good evening, Carter. Do you have a moment? There's something important that I'd like to talk to you about.
Hey, Mom. What's up? Oh, is this about the wedding venue information packets I sent to you? Sorry, it must have been a pretty big package. Did you get a chance to look through them? Which one did you like?
I'm sorry, Carter, but this isn't about the wedding venue. It's a much more important issue than that. I'd like to talk about your marriage.
My marriage? I'm not really sure what you mean. But from the way you're talking, it sounds like it's a pretty heavy issue.
As your mother, I feel that you deserve to have my full support for your marriage, and that's why I've been holding back on saying some things to you. But I've given it some thought lately, and I just can't hide these feelings anymore. In the same way you deserve my support, you also deserve my honesty. I feel it would be for the best for you to reconsider getting married to Miley.
What? Holy cow, Mom! That is a massive bomb to drop on me right now. Okay, well, can you tell me why you're asking me to break up with my fiancé?
Do you remember the time, roughly a month ago, when you brought Miley to the house to introduce her to me? You know, when she was startled and called me an old woman?
Ah, yeah, I do remember that. I'm really sorry that Miley said something so insensitive to you, Mom. But it's partially my fault. I never told her that you were in your 40s when you had me. That was my bad for not preparing her. I had to talk with her about your attitude later on that day. I was firm in telling her never to speak to you like that again.
You did? Well, I appreciate that, but I'm afraid it didn't work. She's continued to treat me exactly the same way ever since. Not only that, she's being outrageously disrespectful regarding my age when you were born.
Really? How so?
The same day you brought her by the house, she and I had a lengthy text conversation. She treated me like I was some sort of a fool for having a child at 40. And not only that, you were the subject of her insults, too. She told me that she thought you were, in her words, defective due to being born to such an old woman.
No way.
She said that she had always found your kind nature to be weird. Apparently she feels that your lack of anger is a defect. Ever since that day, I've been holding back on telling you about it. I thought that it wasn't my place to say something to make you question your decision to marry her, but I just couldn't hold it back anymore. It was one thing for her to belittle me, but another thing entirely for her to speak about you like she did.
Wow, I had no idea. Thank you for being honest with me, Mom. And it must have been difficult for you to breach that topic with me. Now that you mention it, I thought that she's been acting different around me than she did before. Now that I know what the two of you have been talking about, I think I understand what's going on.
Oh, would you mind telling me more?
You said she was using the word defect, right? That actually made me remember a bizarre conversation we had a few weeks ago. One day, she suddenly came up to me and threw a massive stack of papers on my lap. I asked her what it was, and she said she went to the OBGYN and got tested, and everything came up clean. I thought that was reassuring, but she had this weird, almost defiant look on her face. The next thing she said was, "This means that if we have a defective kid, it's your fault."
Goodness gracious. I'd like to say I'm shocked, but after the conversations we've had, I'm afraid nothing is shocking anymore. I could understand if she simply took those tests to reassure you before your marriage, but how could she even think about saying such a thing to you? I told her this same thing when we were talking a month ago, but she's treating you like you're defective merchandise. Not only that, the only reason she's acting this way is because I was 40 when I gave birth to you.
Yeah, I wasn't very thrilled when she said that to me. Even less now that I know why. To be honest, it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Won't you reconsider, Carter? Do you really want to marry a girl like her? It would be wise for you to take some time to think about this.
Sorry, Mom. But I've already thought about this enough. My decision stands. I love Miley and I want to marry her.
Carter.
Like I said, I should have told her about the circumstances of my birth. It's only natural for her to react this way after finding out so late in the game. That's on me and me alone. I'm sorry that my irresponsibility resulted in your feelings getting hurt, Mom.
You don't have anything to apologize for, Carter.
We've already met each other's families. The wedding has already been planned and we've sent out an invitation. It's too late for me to turn back now. Now, that's not to say I'm excusing the way Miley has been acting towards us. Looks like the talk we had earlier wasn't enough. I'm going to sit down with her again one of these days and have another conversation. I'll see to it that she stops, so please, won't you accept our relationship?
It seems that you truly do care about her. All right, Carter, if that's your decision, then I'll respect it. I'm sorry for bringing the topic up to you. It wasn't my place to question your choice of a wife. I'll be praying that the two of you can go on to become as happy of a couple as you deserve.
Thank you, Mom. I don't feel bad. I'm glad that you care enough about me, to be honest. I'm sure that we'll have all this cleared up by the wedding. There'll be nothing in the way of celebrating the beginning of our new life together.
I certainly hope so. I'm very excited for your wedding, Carter. I'll let you go now. See you soon, dear. Kayla? Where in the world are you right now? Aren't you coming? Coming to what, may I ask? You actually forgot? No way. Today's our wedding, Kayla. Wait, your wedding was today? Oh my God, you really did forget. I should have known you would forget. You're clearly going through the early stages of dementia. There's no other way you would possibly forget something as important as your own son's wedding. I do not have dementia, you impudent girl. That's exactly what someone with dementia would say. Oh boy, this is gonna mean a lot of trouble for us now. Am I really gonna have to deal with your dementia from the very day of our wedding? I thought we had a few months left before you started going senile. Enough of this nonsense. What's this about your wedding being today? That's impossible, though. I'm holding the invitation you sent me in my hand right now. The date on this card is for next week, not today. Yeah, and so what? That doesn't change anything. Our real wedding date is today, and you, the mother of the groom, are not in attendance, just as I planned. I don't believe this. You did this on purpose? You wanted me to miss the wedding, so you sent me this fake wedding invitation? Oh, how could you do this to me? Just wait until I tell the family about this. Don't waste your time. Nothing you tell them is gonna do you any good once I'm through with them. After all, you're freaking ancient. All I have to do is go around to all my relatives and yours and tell them that I called you, but you didn't take your dementia pills yesterday. Then when you woke up this morning, your brain was in such a fog that you completely forgot about the wedding. So you can try and tell them that your mean old daughter-in-law tricked you with a fake invitation, but no one is gonna believe you. They'll never believe you. Yeah, they will. And so will your precious little son. If his mother is in such an advanced stage of dementia that she forgot about our wedding, it'll be a piece of cake to get him to throw you in a nursing home ASAP. Well, Kayla, what do you think? Was this not the most perfect plan you've ever seen? Miley, I don't understand. Why would you do this to me? What's in it for you? I have no clue what benefit you would possibly gain from causing me to miss your wedding. Isn't it obvious? I just want to be able to enjoy my newlywed life without any unwanted interruptions. Interruptions? You know, sudden visits from my in-laws, unwanted dinner invitations, boring family celebrations. I hate that sort of thing. I knew I'd have to get rid of you right away, or else I'd be doomed to a life of living under the thumb of my obnoxious mother-in-law. So I made you that fake invitation. Now all that's left is for me to convince the family that you're senile and no one will put up any resistance at all to institutionalizing you. And once I've locked you away in some old folks' home halfway across the state, we'll be able to have that beautiful house of yours all to ourselves. All this time, I thought your maliciousness was limited to simple insensitivity. But now I find out that you've been planning to have me locked up so you could take my house? I underestimated you, Miley. You are pure evil. You can think whatever you want of me, Kayla. Actually, it would be great if you could go around complaining about your evil daughter-in-law's conspiracy against you. That will convince them that you're senile for sure. Oh dear, would you look at the time? The wedding is going to start in a half hour, but you live a 3-hour drive away from the venue. I guess you'll never be able to make it in time now, huh? No, that's why you selected that venue? It was all a part of your plan? I thought it was odd that you picked one so far away when there are nicer ones closer to the city. I couldn't afford to leave anything to chance. Well then, if you'll excuse me, I need to go to the other guests and explain why the family matriarch will not be joining us this fine day. While you're at it, tell them that Carter won't be coming either. What? What do you mean? I mean that my son Carter is here at my house with me right now. So do me a favor and tell them that neither the family matriarch nor the groom will be in attendance today. But why? Because the wedding is canceled. Your engagement to my son is canceled as well. You're lying. There's no way Carter's there with you. You're the only one I sent a fake invitation to. Carter knows that the wedding is today. You are absolutely right, Miley. Carter does know that the wedding is today. I know that because he's the one who told me the true date of the wedding. Wait, he told you the real wedding date? Oh no. You mean you knew? You knew that the invitation I sent you was fake? Indeed I did. No, why would he do that? The truth is, I've been having some discussions regarding you and your behavior with a friend of mine for some time now. She was shocked by the utter contempt you have for me, as anyone with a healthy moral consciousness would. One day she said to me, "That Miley seems like she hates your guts, Kayla. Are you sure she even wants you to come to the wedding?" That's when it hit me. No, you obviously don't want me coming. And given your behavior thus far, I was sure you wouldn't hesitate to use any dirty, underhanded tactics to keep me away. So, on a whim, I showed Carter the invitation I received to make sure everything was right. I can't believe it. I thought my plan was foolproof. It seems like you underestimated just how much of a fool you really are. Oh, this can't be happening. But what's up with Carter then? If he knows that the wedding is today, why isn't he here?
Weren't you paying any attention to what my mom was telling you? I'm not coming because I don't want to.
Huh? Wait, Carter, is that you? What are you doing over there with your mom? Our wedding is about to start.
No, it's not, you idiot. It's canceled. The wedding is off.
What?
I have never been more disappointed in my entire life, Miley. I told you time after time to stop mocking my mom about her age. But not only didn't you heed my warnings, you gave her a fake invitation to make sure she missed the wedding. I didn't confront you right away when I found out, though. Do you know why that is?
Because you love me?
I'd say the past tense would be more appropriate, but yes. I loved you and trusted you. I was sure that you would apologize to my mom and correct your mistake. But you didn't. That's why I'm here with my mom.
But you told me you were here. You said you headed to the venue early to get ready, and just a while ago you said you were putting on your tuxedo. What is going on?
Isn't it obvious? I was lying. This makes us even, I'd say. You lied to my mom about the date, and I lied to you about being there.
How can you be joking around at a time like this? Our wedding is starting in just a few minutes. How can we have a wedding if the groom isn't here?
Good question. Here's another one. How can you have a wedding if the mother of the groom isn't there? And for the last time, wake up already. The wedding is off. I'm breaking up with you.
No!
What's the matter? I thought you'd be happier this way. Now you don't have to live the rest of your life with a defective husband and his mold mother. I mean, wouldn't you be afraid of having a kid just as defective as I am?
Carter.
Oh, and one more thing. You're wrong about me. I most certainly do have the ability to get angry. I'm the angriest right now that I've ever been. And how can you blame me? The woman I was set to pledge my eternal love to clearly despises me and my mother.
Carter, I'm so sorry. It's just, I don't know anyone else like you. I mean, having a baby at 40? That's just crazy. I was shocked. I didn't know how to handle it. It's not that I despise you or your mom.
You were shocked, huh? So shocked that you made a fake invitation just to make my mom miss our wedding? So shocked that you cooked up a scheme to convince her family that she was senile? Is that what you do when you're shocked?
I can explain.
You don't need to explain. I know your type. You're not the first person to mock my mom for her age. Back when I was in elementary school, all the other kids already told me my mom was really my grandma, and that my real mom was dead. Do you have any idea how much that hurt me? But my mom never let it get to her. She raised me with all the love and care that a mother can possibly give.
Carter, I am so sorry. I've done something absolutely terrible to you. I'm willing to do whatever you want to make amends. I mean it.
Is that so? You'll do anything I want?
Yes, you name it.
Okay. Never speak to me again.
Carter, please.
Go right now and tell the venue staff that the wedding is off. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to talk to a lawyer.
Kayla, I don't know what to do. Carter's never been this angry at me before. Nothing I say to him is working. He still wants to break up with me. You shouldn't have mistaken Carter's kindness for weakness. Just because he's a gentle soul doesn't mean he's a pushover. I tried going to everyone else, my friends, even my parents. But they all keep telling me that I'm only getting what I deserve. And they're exactly right. Look, I don't blame you for being angry at me, but please, can't you do something to get Carter to forgive me? I love him. Do you know what love is, Miley? Love means to will the good of the other. So if you love Carter, you'll want what's best for him, and what's best for him is to break up with you. But what? Carter says he wants to break up with you. If you really love him, you'll give him what he wants. You're making a big mistake. I am? Well, you're old. If you don't help me get back together with Carter, you might never live to see him get married, much less have grandchildren. Don't you want to be able to see your own grandchildren before the dementia takes over and you can't even remember your own son's name? And who's going to take care of you when you get too old to take care of yourself, if not me? I would rather Carter drop me off in the middle of the woods on a winter night than leave me in your care. Besides, I'm as healthy as a horse. I've still got decades of life ahead of me. At your age? Yes, at my age. I've lived a healthier life than nearly everyone you know, I'd wager. I eat only organic food, nothing processed, and I make all my cooking from scratch. I also lift weights 3 times a week and run a mile every morning. What are you, some kind of superwoman? I'll tell you what, Miley, how about we make a little wager? If you can beat me in a 100-yard sprint, I'll encourage Carter to take you back. If I beat you, you'll leave town and never return. Well, what do you say? I'll pass. That's what I thought. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm running late for my appointment with my personal trainer. Good luck dealing with Carter's lawyer, Miley. The reason Carter consulted with a lawyer was to find a way to force Miley to pay for the wedding cancellation fees. The settlement they reached was that in exchange for Carter not suing her for harassing me, that she would be held responsible for the full cost of the wedding. Her parents refused to help her at all, so she'll have to come up with the full amount by herself. As for Carter, I'm not at all concerned about him finding love. With his impeccable personality and the good looks he inherited from his father, I'm sure he'll find a proper wife for himself in no time. As a matter of fact, one of my friends heard about his breakup through the grapevine and asked me to introduce her daughter to him. Looks like I may not have to wait too long to meet my grandchildren after all.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.